All right, we have learned about the secondary colors, and today we're going to create some secondary colors with our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. These are paint sticks. They kind of look like glue sticks, but you're going to take the lid off and you're going to color in just with one color. You can color in maybe two at a time. I'm going to color in one of these big ones. And you want to make sure that you get all of these spaces colored in. They kind of smoothly glide on. And you'll see when you do this. I'm getting all the white spaces colored in. And once I'm finished with that color, I want to make sure that I put that lid on top of my paint stick. And I'm going to go to another color. So I'm going to basically go and fill in. And sometimes if you need it to go up a little bit, you can twist the bottom part. I'm going to fill in with my red. These are the primary colors. Now I want to show you what happens when I overlap my yellow. Yellow and red make orange. So I'm going to overlap a little bit and it kind of makes a pretty orange color. You can see it almost looks like the red, but it's a little bit of an orange color. Now I'm going to take my red and make another one. I'm going to make sure I get all those white spots. And I'm going to overlap. Actually, I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my yellow again. So you'll see when you're doing yours, you're going to fill in all of them. And I'm going to do my green or my blue now. So blue and yellow makes green. So when I overlap my yellow, it makes a really cool green color. I'm going to leave this one just pure yellow. When I overlap my red, it makes purple. That looks pretty cool. This one I think I'm just going to do a regular blue. So I'm going to finish that up and show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so now I filled in all of my circles and I made a couple green. I made two orange. I only have one red one. But that's okay. I'm going to go back and fill in this red one because I have some white spots still showing. And then I have two blue, and so I just have one red one. So we're going to be finished with this probably today, and next week we're going to actually cut these out and turn them into something else. And I will explain that to you next week. All right, today we're going to create some flowers with our secondary color bubbles. So we made these last week, these circles. We colored them in with the primary colors and the secondary colors. And today you're going to make a little hand to hold some flowers. So we're going to take a Sharpie. When you're tracing your hand, you're going to spread out your fingers, keep it still, and then keep your Sharpie just straight up and down. That way you get just the shape of your hand. I've got a ring on. I'm not moving my fingers. If you notice, my fingers are staying still. And I'm going pretty slowly. Especially around the tips of your fingers. I'm going slowly. I'm just kind of moving my Sharpie right next to my hand. Remember, my Sharpie is going to be straight up and down. It's not going to be like this or like this. Oh, and I took my Sharpie off the paper, so I'm just going to go back. And if I missed any spots, like right here I can see I missed, I'm just going to connect that because I can kind of tell where that is. So if you want to go back and make that line darker, sometimes a nice dark black line looks really good. I'm going to go back and make that a little bit darker, kind of outline my hand. And you might have room to have two hands. If you want one here, then maybe you want another one here or another one. I don't want them overlapping. But you might have space to do another hand on the other side. Okay, so make that nice and dark. Now we get to do some cutting and some gluing. So once you have that done, you have that nice dark line so that your hand really stands out. Make sure that Sharpie lid gets back on tight. And you are going to cut out some of these circles. So these circles we created with some of those fun paint sticks. Now circles can be kind of tricky to cut out. So when I cut it out, I just cut out a smaller piece so it's easier to work with. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut, and with my one hand I'm turning. So I'm not cutting real fast. I'm cutting, and with my other hand I'm turning. And you can see I'm just cutting a little bit at a time, kind of in here where the deep part of the scissors are. And now I have a circle cut out. So I'm going to start gluing these down kind of above my hand, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're done in a second. Okay, now remember, I'm gonna cut a little bit off of the color of the edge just so I don't have any of the white paper showing. I want to have just the colorful part, and if it's not a perfect circle, that's okay. But remember to cut kind of slowly, and then when you're finished, you'll have some of that colorful part still on the white paper. And this is all scraps that can be recycled. And I actually switched. I realized that my paper wasn't going to be big enough. So now I have all of these circles. I've glued a couple of them down, but you guys are just going to decide where you want to glue all of these little circles. Some of them I've glued down already. So I can either put glue on the back of the circle and then put it down and push, or I can put glue right on my paper and just push wherever you want those circles to be. Okay, when I'm finished with my glue, I'm just going to put that lid back on, and now I'm going to take another one of these paint sticks, and I'm going to add some stems that are going to touch my hand, skip over my hand, and go to the end of my paper. So they're going to just touch my hand, skip over. So I'm not going to draw the line through my hand because I want it to look like my hand is just holding the flowers. You see how I'm touching and then I'm skipping over? Now this one is going to be even trickier because this one is going to touch this flower and then come down. This one's just going to come down in the middle. And then I think I might not even draw another line down here. I'm just going to skip that one. This one's going to skip over this flower. And I think I'm just going to skip that too. And then this one's just going to come right in here. Skip over. Maybe I'll make one more line. So now it looks like I have a bunch of stems on my flowers, but I don't have any petals. So to make some petals, I'm going to get a different color. I'm just going to make some lines kind of right around some of those circles. Wherever I can fit a line. I might not be able to fit them all on there, but I think I like that yellow one with the blue. I might do a different kind of a line. Maybe I'll just do a little circle. And those are going to be my petals. So you're going to finish that up, and then when you're done, you can raise your hand and I will come get your picture. You might not want to do petals on all of them. You might decide that some of them don't need petals, and that's going to be perfectly up to you and perfectly fine. And when it's finished, let me show you what it's going to look like. Okay, so I added some lines to all of my petals, and when it's finished, it looks really interesting. You can see all the different primary colors, secondary colors. We've got some green stems, and you will be done with this.